Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, Shinrin, Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Saturday, November 4th, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. We are waiting on a filament coronal mass ejection headed our way. Ejected from the sun just about a day and a half ago, should make its arrival here midnight on the 6th, UTC. So we should be looking up for some geomagnetic storms in just a day or so. We're also waiting for an imminent eruption in Iceland as the seismicity continues. Keep calm, it's boom time. Snow cover in the lower 48 is at record levels as November starts. Al Gore would not be happy. Shut up, Al, get in your hole. In fact, he's talking back right now. Total snow mass for the Northern Hemisphere now double the expected for this time of year, based on the averages going all the way back to 1982. We are 300 gigatons above normal this early in the season. Here's the next window for snow in California's Sierras. There will be snow moving across central Canada tonight into tomorrow, as well as Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. But for the Sierras, it looks like Monday into Tuesday, an event for the high elevations through Tahoe, and that will bring snow into Utah, Nevada, and Colorado as well. Multiple systems continuing. Here we see an eastern Canadian flux. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, heavy snow in a strip. Quebec and Ontario, you are the target there. And the snow continues, especially in the west through mid-November. Could be some record totals for Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. Stay tuned for the updates. Look at the depths of the snow there. The white regions here are all over 4 feet. And here's the full forecast. Rainy weather for the Pacific Northwest. Waves of rainy weather will continue to impact parts of the Pacific Northwest into Northern California through Monday. In fact, some of this rainfall will be heavy and excessive, which may result in localized flooding and as well as high elevation snow. Ho, ho, ho. China is set for a sudden change from warm to freezing. In the year of extreme weather, grand solar minimum much, plus we've got the increased moisture from Honga Tonga. Beijing Reuters says that temperatures in northern China are set to plunge as much as 20 degrees Celsius after the second warmest October in decades. Now, we missed the ball on this yesterday after reporting on a 5.7 earthquake in Nepal and, well, fearing nothing, the worst actually happened. And it could be the fact that the Nepal government is claiming that this earthquake was 6.4 and the USGS is putting it at 5.7. Nonetheless, the Nepal earthquake has killed over 150 people, the number at 157 now, with hundreds injured. A powerful earthquake struck the northwest region Friday night, and because of poor construction, well, it is devastated.
150 people are dead in Nepal after an earthquake struck the country's northwest region overnight Friday. In addition to the deaths, hundreds are reported injured. Now, many homes in this region are made of stacked logs and rocks, which are not stable in an earthquake. Even in a moderate earthquake like this one, the preliminary magnitude I've seen is 5.6. Many of the deaths and injuries occurred as homes crumbled under the force of this quake. Several mountainous villages in the area are only reachable by foot, and some roads have been blocked by landslides triggered by the earthquake, hampering rescue efforts. The epicenter of the earthquake was near Jajakot, which is about 250 miles northwest of the Nepali capital of Kathmandu. Authorities said the death toll is expected to rise as communications are restored and rescue and recovery personnel gain access to areas currently cut off.
Just a horrible situation, apparently, in this very remote region. Here is some more footage.
These 128 people are dead and many more injured after a powerful earthquake hit western Nepal. This happened late last night. Local officials said they haven't been able to establish contact in the area near the epicenter. Nepal's National Seismological Center said the quake was a magnitude 6.4. Now, the U.S. Geological Survey called it a magnitude 5.6. We will continue to follow this story and update you as we learn more today.
Our hearts and prayers go out to those affected in Nepal as the rescue effort continues. Italy still planning for possible mass evacuation as earthquakes continue around Campi Flegrei. Well, the good news is that these earthquakes have been greatly reduced, albeit still ongoing, and they are keeping a close watch on this region as it ebbs and flows in activity. And by keeping a close eye on it, they can make the right decision on when and if an evacuation should occur. Speaking of evacuations, anyone near Kluchiskoye or Kluchiska volcano in the Kamchatka should probably get out of Dodge. Another paroxysm today, 36,000 feet. And this baby is on fire. As the Reykjanes volcano seismicity drops significantly, Iwo Jima volcano, a new island has just formed. Take a look at this. Eruptions continue on the island's new surface as the new cone is forming. Beautiful in Iwo Jima. That brings us to the seismic activity dropping significantly in Reykjanes. This does not mean that an eruption is not going to happen. It means that magma found an easy place in and is now moving into that region. And you can see that by this high density of larger quakes at about 5 kilometers. That is the magma moving into that region. As these quakes start to get higher to the surface, like here in the next swarm, that's when we could see it break through the surface. As the seismic swarm is greatly reduced over the last 2 days, you can see it dropping down here. New signals just coming out moments ago showing an uptick in the larger activity towards the surface. So we're keeping a close eye on this. The Reykjanes Ridge and the peninsula itself. So stay tuned for immediate updates when the eruption begins. Space weather news update. We have what appears to be a CME that rapidly came in about 12 hours ago, kicking the KP up all the way to 5 G1 geomagnetic storm, still hovering above KP4, and there is probably more to come as we take a look at telemetry here. There is still some activity here, and the BZ definitely still shifting rapidly. Now, that is not our biggest worry. We also have coronal hole number 67, which will be geoeffective in a few days, meaning in a few days from now, we are going to have some major activity from this coronal hole. And we also have the plasma filament, which we kicked off the podcast with here. Let's move that back. The plasma filament coming off of the sun here on the 3rd, late on the 3rd, is going to reach Earth here on the 5th or the 6th. The same time the coronal hole should arrive, probably after the plasma filament hits, sometime between the 6th and the 7th, which means we could have some spectacular aurora in the coming days. Let's take a look. Currently, the aurora is lighting up. It's going to be quite poor, but if you're out there, there's no reason you shouldn't get out and look up. Now, the good news is that coming soon, in just 2 days, we will have an amazing aurora outbreak, so stay tuned for updates and make sure every night to get out and look up, as a large plasma filament is headed our way in a coronal hole. The good news is the solar cycle. We are now, new reports for October showing it rapidly decreasing in intensity here to just 100 sunspots. So that's good news. Now, NASA's spacecraft has a high-speed asteroid encounter and finds a surprise. A 10,000 mile per hour space flyby with a new asteroid. The space agency's Luna mission was en route to a never-explored Trojan asteroids trapped in swarms around Jupiter. And it turns out the target, Dinkinesh, is actually 2 asteroids. A smaller asteroid orbiting about a bigger asteroid. There it is. Look at how close they are together. We do have some amazing footage of that stellar dance here. A GIF coming from NASA's solar system. So quite a spectacular discovery with such a close rotational. Look at how close those 2 objects are. So basically, we know very little about our universe, even our solar system. And the fact that these objects are orbiting each other and they're basically tiny has a lot to do with it. Things are electric in our so-called vacuum of space, and we are just children witnessing the glory. Speaking of glory, things just keep getting older. First, we have Göbekli Tepe dating to 11,500 years ago, then Karahan Tepe dating to the Younger Dryas event itself, 12,500 or older. And now a giant pyramid buried in Indonesia that we've known about forever, and that's Gunung Padang, has now been dated to between 16,000 and 27,000 years old. Absolutely mind-blowing. There's basically 4 levels of building here, or 4 units. And unit 4, well, could be as old as 27,000 years old. One of the oldest pyramid complexes we now have dated is pushing back advanced civilizations tens of thousands of years. Well, what did you expect? Well, expect the worst, as Nipah virus, which swells the brain and leads to coma before death, may be the next pandemic. Are you surprised that the fear porn and the fear mongering continues? The powers that be know what's coming up, and they are culling the population. This is a picture of an octopus and its brain. Well, and it's just fantastic. Now you want to stay on the fantastic kick? Join us in just a few minutes over at Magnetic Reversal News for a double header. Yeah, the Yuga cycle, the great year, cosmic catastrophe cycle, perhaps the binary star system that we are in, as above, so below. The entire podcast and the reveal coming up in just a few minutes. So join us over at Magnetic Reversal News to continue the information boom. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video, as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon, support the work we do, and watch all of our content in one place, commercial free. Be safe. We love you. And we'll see you over at Magnetic Reversal News in just a moment.